Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Jeremiah here commentating today this Tier 1 Race 7 of the league. I commentated yesterday, it was a lot of fun, we saw a lot of amazing overtakes. Do have a new co-commentator with me, this time will be Chris. Say hello.
Hello, by the way, my name's Connor, but it's okay. But I am back after I sadly had issues with my mic last week, so I do apologise for a boring race, sorry. But hopefully for today's race we can cheer you up and entertain you today.
Yeah, today's I'm reckoning it's gonna be a great race. As we see, I've seen from previous league races, whenever there's a low amount of people driving, today we have 13. There's a low driver turnout. We see a lot of amazing overtakes because people really don't have anything to lose going out on track. As we have only 3 cars go out on track compared to yesterday, where we had the entire grid go out all on the same lap. As we see Lord Gamer getting a feel for the mediums.
Yes, this Smurf thing, if that's how you pronounce his name, is the first one to leave the track. So I've raced with him, he's been driving. I haven't seen him from the past for the past couple of races, but hopefully he can show us what he's made of for today's race.
Yeah, I can agree. I have no prior experience again with driver standings, knowing who can be the quickest, who can set the fastest valve laps, stay within track limits, etc. I have absolutely no idea when it comes to these things, so it's gonna be. I'm hoping to see a very interesting race. As we see, Day Smurf is going to be the first one on his outlap, followed by, I believe that is Lord Gamer on the mediums. Oh, Day Smurf hits the wall, getting way too early on the power. It's a DNF for him. He will not be able to complete qualifying. Very unfortunate. As we see, Lord Gamer has also spun. It seems like the track may just be too cold with the tires. We saw Day Smurf go out immediately, and these drivers just maybe accelerating too early, maybe hitting the curb too early. What do you think?
Yeah, as we actually, as you were speaking, there was a problem with PB. I believe he actually spun also in just the beginning of sector 3. So I think he's going to continue. I don't think he has any wing damage. So he's going to be on his first time lap, as he's going to enter turn 1.
As we see IRL Bucket having a fastest sector 2. Maybe he might be the first person to set a time, have a valid time. It looks like taking it very, very cautiously into these last 2 corners. What will it be? It is a 1:03.8. Not a very quick lap considering this is tier 1, but a valid lap in and of itself. So some small achievement to be proud of.
Yes, as there was actually a hot lap tutorial that went on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go subscribe to the Tribune Racing League on YouTube. As there was a hot lap that AB broke and did, which was in the 1 minute 2. So I do expect him to get in the 1 minute 2, as he gets a 1 minute 3.800, which is very good, and goes up to P1.
Yeah, I have to say I wasn't actually expecting that. I have no prior experience with any of these drivers, so seeing the 1:03.2 being the set as a lap and the first 3 minutes of qualifying is very interesting to say itself. And as I say that, the AlphaTauri beats his lap by 2/10. That's a 1:03.0. I'm guessing we're gonna have to dip into the 1:02s now, because this is only 13 minutes of qualifying. The track isn't even as warm and won't even give that much advantage. Yeah.
As we see from the past couple of races, which of course I've commented, has improved in my opinion. He has been one to watch. He has been very, very consistent with his laps, but unfortunately he has DNF in a couple of races, and
I believe that is PB. As you're saying that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it looks like PB has set a fastest sector 2. As long as he can keep this valid, pushing himself to the very limits of the track, not exceeding track limits. What will this time be by PB? It is P4 with the fastest Sector 2. Very interesting to see. As you see, I guess he lacked in Sector 1 and 3.
As we just saw Danny, as he was just saying, Danny has actually gone up to P1 and has actually gone to the 1 minute 2 to 1 minute 2.902. Only his first timed lap, but hopefully he can improve as it is actually very close in the top 2 between him and Weezer. But we expect more.
I guess I have to say I do expect more. I believe the fastest time will be around a 1:02.5. The caliber of these drivers and their time trials, I believe they're going to be like a tenth or two off. I have seen before in previous races, Lord Gamer in fact beat his time trial laps in some of these sessions. So there's really, there's really nothing to expect. You never know. That's what's amazing about this this sport of Formula One. There's no guarantee in anything. Let me see, EDM a couple 1/10 off of his teammate on the medium compound, so maybe going for a better pit strategy considering there's less drivers. Really don't know what to expect.
Is the stream up?
Yeah, it should be. We have three viewers right now.
Yeah, because does it include... It's asking, does it include your audio?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we might be having some difficulties. Unknown. I believe I am. My audio is included. If you can comment and say that you hear me now, MintCastle talking, that'd be great.
I'm just gonna quickly mute my mic just to double check. So we just got the stream on. Just gonna mute my mic quickly, or else you probably are gonna commentate something in a minute. I'll tell you if you are.
All right. That is cool with me. As we see Iro Bucket coming on his outlap, ready to do another lap. As we see Weeze already 3 laps and is 4/10, not even 4/10, 4,000ths off of pole position. That must have been an amazing lap. Sadly, we weren't on board for that as we were fixing other issues. And Lord Gamer jumps to P3 on the soft tire compound, so getting all loosey-goosey as it looks. He might bail on this lap. Who knows? Looks like he's still taking it as if it's a flying lap.
I just want to say, yeah, our audio is working. By the way, just double checked for you.
Alright, audio is working, ladies and gentlemen. As we see Lord Gamer wants to loosey-goose, he's going into the pits now, as he didn't even get to set a lap. He just bailed on the lap as he hits the wall, losing his end plate completely and utterly. That is very unfortunate for him. AB looks like he's going to be on his outlap. Any other drivers that we should look out for going into qualifying?
I was gonna ask you about Immortal. Has done just one lap. He did it on the Netherlands track where he won at 8, which was very impressive considering he could go for the 1 lap. But he's still in the garage. He is one to watch, in my opinion. He has won a couple of races, so gonna be interesting what his strategy is for today's race. Is he just gonna go for the 1 lap like he has done previous and got the win at Netherlands? He had won at Bahrain before. I believe he's won at a couple of other tracks, but he's a one to watch and all. AB Broken is one to watch and all. Also Danny, and like I said earlier, Weezy has been improving and he is P2 still. As Immortal actually is about, I believe he's about to go out. Oh no, he's in the pit, sorry.
As we say, Iro Bucket about to complete his lap. I could tell this is an outlap. As you can see, the ERS deployment is very low, almost invalidating, barely staying valid. As we see, he jumps up to 6th position with that lap. I'd say that he's expecting more, but considering his teammate is all the way down in P13, I believe he doesn't even have a lap set yet, is saying that he's the lead teammate currently in this moment.
No, he doesn't have a time lap yet.
As we see AB going into P3 and the driver behind him didn't get to see him. May have gone up also as they were drafting off of each other. The Williams pulls away for Wees. Wees actually did not improve his lap. This is his third lap and we still have 7 minutes in qualifying. I'd say this is not very great qualifying management of soft tires. How about you, Connor?
Oh, sorry. I was just double checking something, double checking the Dick's car. As I was just betting AB, he did nearly spin off turn one, I believe, or even turn 3. Danny does go into the pits.
As we see FRT going into P4 with his, I believe that is his first or second qualifying lap. 3.7 tenths off of the pole position as Danny Skeet. I guess he was going very fast because these drivers cannot seem to outpace him, as Wees is the only closest driver 4,000ths off of him. He cannot improve on his laps. In fact, 2 seconds slower that lap in and of itself. Looks like he might be pushing again though, because he looks like he has hot lap open, DRS open, and we see him go into the 8th gear into the top of this turn. He is 2/10 2,000ths quicker than his previous lap. All he needs is 4,000ths. Will he be able to keep this pace up, and he might take pole position?
As I'm just spectating Immortal, as he's now going to come round the final turn. He is now going to just about to start his lap time, so he is going to approach turn 1 now.
As we see Wees with the fastest sector 2, can he keep the rest of this lap valid? He may take pole position from this lap. Let's stay on board, ladies and gentlemen. Braking just early enough, riding the curb, not cautious at all, using everything he has. Will this be pole position? This will be pole position, a 1:02.848, as we see. An amazing lap from Wees taking Danny Skeet's lap. Now Danny will really have to push to really beat that lap now. As you were mentioning earlier, Immortal invalidates his lap, however. We have Edmund, who looks like he's going to go on the softs, however. I don't believe he's been able to keep a valid time because he's 1 second off of pole position. 1:03.8 is not a, no, I think it's a 1:04. It's not a great time to have, especially in Tier 1. So hopefully he can set a valid lap.
Yeah, EDMG did win the Monaco Grand Prix and he really did deserve it. I thought it was very, very good. He did stand out to the crowd. It was a close battle indeed, and he just drove really good around the track. He was very consistent. I believe he only got 1 time penalty. Consider he just get a lot of time penalties. As Immortal gets past his sector 1 just then. He's now gonna approach sector 2.
As he's going to approach, I believe this is turn 4, as you were just about to say. Immortal really late braking, riding the curb, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, getting that little bit of extra rotation, 4th gear. He is low on fuel, however. I don't believe this is going to be a good lap because he is low on fuel. He might have to lower it down to rich or even standard. A fastest sector 2 on top of that. So as you were saying earlier, Immortal could also be the fastest driver. He might be doing this strategy where he likes to wait until the last moment to get a time and surprise the competition. He might just surprise the competition with this lap. Will Underbay be able to rack and see what this lap will be? It is a 1:02.7. So as you were saying, TRT Immortal really proving his worth, going from last to first in qualifying. Obviously, Lord Gamer coming out. He is on his outlap as we have the McLaren behind him. He looks like he wants to let the McLaren by. Doesn't want to have anybody behind him or in front of him too far, too back ahead, because you never know what can happen. Getting hit, bumped, late braking. You never know anymore. And that's why this is the great sport of Formula 1. As we have PB going on his outlap, I believe it is said now. Late braking, hitting the apex of turn 1, not invalidating. Good acceleration out of the first corner. Will he take fastest sector 1? Who knows? Depends. All depends on downforce, as we see. Braking quite nicely into this turn 3, as they call it. I like to say turn 2 because I don't really count that uphill sector as turn 2. However, we see him going now down into turn 4, third gear. Really not really getting that extra rotation that we saw TRT Immortal getting. Now let's stay on board for this lap. It looks like it may be decent, may be able to get past Lord Gamer possibly with this lap. I could say you can see him being quite cautious, staying off of the curbs, not really pushing himself to the limits as we've seen other drivers do, especially the top 3 very close to one another. Decent braking into the final corner, good acceleration. What will this time be? It will be P4 getting past the most of the grid, but staying behind Danny Skeet. As we see, the top 3 are barely a tenth or two away from pole position, so this may be a close race in the end. What are you thinking, Connor?
Sorry, I was double checking my friend was joining. He is not joining, sadly. So there's going to be no more drivers, I believe. So this is probably just going to be the set of drivers that are going to drive. But Dylan just went off the track, so he's going to get an invalidated lap. I'm pretty sure that we're going to improve his time by actually an awful lot. But sadly, he gets an invalidated lap time, so he isn't going to move from P13. He isn't going to get into a good start. He's going to start basically at the back with D. Smith, who sadly crashed, I believe, on his first time lap.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Dave Smith did crash. He was the first driver to go on his on his qualifying lap, but he hit the barrier way too hard, and his tire went bye-bye, and that was qualifying over for him, sadly. And you know, with this small amount of drivers, I do see a comeback happening. Maybe P8, P7, depending on his pace throughout the race. But yeah, I was hoping to see some good pace from all the drivers. And I mean, oh, as we see I didn't even notice this now. Weeze improves on his lap, getting a 102.74. We see TRT Immortal 3 10 20. Oh, ten thousandths away from, no, not 10,000, 3,000ths away from pole position lap. So this is going to be an amazingly close race. But however, we also see dirty air being a really big factor when it comes to race pace. So being behind cars might not be the best. Basically be an overtaking battle between these top 3 drivers.
I just want to say, Dylan, who, as I was saying earlier, is at the back. He nearly did improve his lap time, but just went off track. He has won a race. I believe it was at the Was it at Netherlands or was it at another track? I can't really remember. But he has been racing great. But we do expect a little bit more, as Immortal just got past the sector 1 again. So we're looking he's going to improve his lap time.
Weeze retires his car, as this is the last laps of qualifying. It's all up to TRT Immortal. Let's watch this lap. He could take pole position, as he is so close. Any improvement of time that's more than 3,000ths of a second will be able to beat the pole position lap. As we see him almost going wide, keeping the car well though. Short shifting as we see, and he invalidates. That is lap over, as we see. Weeze P1, TRT Immortal P2, and Danny Skid P3. As we see, EDM actually jumped many drivers at the late stages of qualifying, getting 2/10 off of pole position. And then we have I believe I just call him ABB. He is on his last lap. However, he runs out of fuel. He will not improve at all, and that is it. That is qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. This was amazing. The commentator was very close between each and every one of the drivers.
As you were talking about EDMG, he did do a lap on the mediums. He did get 1 minute 4 early, really 1 minute 4, like 0-0, something close to that. Does jump up to P4 with 1 minute 3 on the soft, so he looks like the mediums can work for him. But well, this is the standings and the results for qualifying. As you got Weezy at top, then you got Immortal, then you got Danny as your top 3. Starting on the pole positions, but we might not be finding the pace in qualifying, but we are looking forward to the race, as there's only going to be 14 drivers, but hopefully it still entertains you. As normally we would have a full lobby, but looks like we was having some server problems due to the Discord, what they were saying in the Discord, but we still got a lot of drivers. Hopefully it entertains you.
And talking about entertainment, this is going to be a very entertaining race, as we've seen each driver thousands of seconds, tenths, not hundreds of seconds, hundreds of thousands of seconds off of one another. So I believe this is going to be one of the closest races that I have ever seen. Much less the audience, I guess there's been a lot of competition in Tier 1. I'm just hoping that it's not like last race where pit stops created 1 second gaps for each of the drivers, causing a very not very a very entertaining, I guess the word would be that I could think of, for lack of a better term, not a very entertaining stream to commentate. But with these drivers' pace, and as you say, the medium compound tire, as you said, for the, I believe you said he qualified 5th, maybe able to pull off a double stop on mediums, show his pace, and maybe take P2, P3, take a podium away.
I do apologise, I was just sorting out my sister. She was being very argumentative, so I do apologise. She was being loud on her Xbox, as she is currently basically next door to me. So I needed to sort her out, so we have a quiet stream and hope it entertains you. As these are actually a one-stop, so you do softs to hard, so if you got good times with the hards, then go ahead. Then you got the 2-stop, which is soft mediums, which could actually fit EDMG, considering you get in 104s for the medium compound tires. But we'll have to see.
Talking about his strategies, yesterday in Tier 2's race, I saw I believe there was 1 or 2 drivers who went from softs to medium, softs to hards, and they like really showed their capabilities. They went from lower parts of the grid, I'd say like around P6, to I believe there was a pulsator on hards. So yeah, if you can really make the hards work and you practice with them and you have pace with the hards, you might be able to win this race.
Yeah, you could consider it is quite a fast track, I would say. Just in a minute, basically like a 62 second. Basically 62/63 second lap, but the mediums I would go for personally. But if you are the driver that normally goes on the hards, you normally think to yourself, right, I'm normally consistent, do I choose to go on these because I'm more consistent on them, or do I go on the mediums that I'm not really consistent at but I can still get fast laps? That's where you have to decide as a driver. But you still want decent points for the constructors title. I do not know who's up top
as we have the grid get it ready to form up. Formation lap is over. Now we just have to see the drivers log in. As we see, will the start 5 red lights begin to start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Will we have the glitch? We do not, and it's go time. As we see P1 good off the line, as we see the Racing Point maybe be able to challenge. No, he won't. He brakes early to avoid any other collision, as we see a Red Bull in the back hit each other in this major collision. We have a front wing gone from 2 drivers in AlphaTauri down in the back of the grid, and we do have a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, into the first turn. A lot of what did you see from that?
From what I saw, I just saw one driver maybe accidentally bumped off another driver. From look what has happened, it's obviously been PB and log in, so we don't know what's happened. There might be a driver ticket. The safety has come out if you haven't noticed, but from what I saw log game like shoot off the track and actually collide with PB. So I think it's an accident from what I saw on my screen, but there has been
I believe it's a racing incident from what I saw also. I saw the Red Bull I believe he got shoved wide, and then he wasn't able to control the car after he was pushed wide. So then he hit another car. I'd say it's just simply a racing incident. You know, it's turn one. You got 13 cars. Oh my gosh! As we see, Lord Gamer last place. He does have front wing damage on both end plates, so he is going into the pits definitely. As we saw him P6, I believe it was. So these drivers now getting a wing change, it helps them. I believe that it would have been smarter now to go on the mediums and then carry it on, but as we see all drivers going on hards with only Day Smirk on the mediums. As we see a McLaren hits the barrier, looks like there was a 5-second penalty given out to FIFA Legends, so I'm guessing there was a collision somewhere around there. Very unfortunate, and I believe the safety car will come in on lap 4, so as long as whoever got hit can get on the get in the pits and then back up to the safety car. In that time, as we see Danny Skeet having to avoid collision with the car, hitting the brakes hard. Not very clean driving from anybody here. I'd say everybody needs to calm down, take a breath, and focus.
Yeah,
this definitely should not happen.
yeah, I do agree with you there. Danny normally is really good, but I can only have
I believe that's
lead.
another M plate that's gone. Iro Bucket, another 5-second penalty handed out. Come on, guys, we have to keep this clean race. We have to represent as a league. But anyway, as we see, damage, I believe that's for FIFA Legend. He already had a penalty, so even more damage for him, is that? Very unfortunate.
Yeah,
Wow.
FIFA Legend does have a 10-second time limit here, so.
And he has his right end plate is completely gone. Because of the driving that's going on. I'd say right now, advice to drivers: give each other like half a second of space when it's this driving. Like if you see the car in hell, you accelerate, let them accelerate because you know they're gonna brake eventually. Or the car ahead, so just kind of stay behind. As we see, Duffy's is doing it the correct way, giving them a good amount of space and then getting to the back of them. I say braking just a tad bit too hard, but other than that, he's doing what he should be on these laps.
I've actually only just noticed that Rossi has free time. I really do apologise, I only just noticed.
Yeah, that was I believe he was the person who got hit after the Red Bull had gotten that front wing damage. So he was the victim out of the scenario, I believe, after there was many collisions to start the race.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly update you on the positions change. So Easy stays where he is, Immortal stays where he is. EDMG does go into a pole position, so he moves up 1 space. AB Broken does go up by 2 positions. Mr. Bucket goes up 5, FIFA Legend goes up 3, but they do have time penalties. G-Dub has gone up 5, Danny's lost 5, Duffy's gone up 2, Dismith's gone up 4, PB's lost 6, Lord Gamer's lost 5, and Dylan stayed wherever he has. So that's the update of the race. As I believe the safety car will come in next lap.
So this giving, I believe the, who was that? FIFA Legend definitely should have pit, even if it would have been last place. Really nothing to lose, especially since safety car is coming in on the start of the 5th lap. So now we see him at a disadvantage. I believe he's going to drop down to last, not only because of penalties, but because of his front wing damage. And then talking about damage, tires are going to be pretty worn out, especially during these laps. However, the top runners, while they will have cold tires, they do gain an advantage from this because they're able to pit later on the mediums and then go on softs, maybe again at the end of the race, if that's legal. I don't remember if it is.
I don't know if that were me, but you were just lagging a bit.
I have absolutely no idea. As we see, race control telling us that safety car is in fact in this lap. So, what to expect from drivers? What are you expecting from each driver? Who's going to overtake who, and who do you think is going to lose the most positions? Luson, you there?
Oh, sorry, Beef Legend did go to a 15-second
Let
time
me see.
penalty.
This is the race start. Race starting, as we see. Wee's getting a very, very good launch, but TRT Immortal is now going to have some pressure from behind. We have Iro Bucket overtaking People Legend because he has damage. Now we're going to see another driver, G-Dub, is also going to overtake FIFA. I'm saying the Racing Point makes a dive down the inside or the outside. Dansky thinks better of it, however, having to defend off of FIFA Legend. Around the outside he goes. Now the Haas is going to have to make a move on FIFA Legend. FIFA Legend really not in a good spot to compete with any of these drivers because of his wing damage.
I was just about to say the same thing, as he did get basically a double overtake.
Oh, and we see another Alfa Romeo spun. I believe that is Lord Gamer YT. Does he have damage? That is the real question. He does not have damage, I believe. No, he does not have damage. Another tragic incident. Driver dropping down the racks. I believe he now has a 6-second gap from the nearest driver, so he's going to have to put on those cards and try to make a work eventually.
Yeah, as you were just saying, we've all just got the fastest lap, and EB has overtook EDMG, so it's now going to the position.
Yes, as we're seeing, these drivers are really taking advantage.
Sorry, but
some of the drivers who have pit, who either get new wings, also got new tires on top of that. So not only will they be pitting later, I think they can get the one-stop work. As we see, Danny Ski gets a fastest sector 1 and tries to make a dive down the inside, but the AlphaTauri defends well. Now we're going into turn 4. No, DRS has not been enabled there because it's not 3 laps after the safety car. Gaps are not beginning to really form, as we see tenths are separating each driver from one another.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Weezy just gone on the outside to re-overtake Immortal. Immortal has now dropped down back to P2, as he did overtake Weezy on turn 3, has now lost the speed, as Immortal's still trying to gain on Weezy, but Weezy's still trying to push away. Only 200 attempts past 200.
As you're saying that, Immortal does have significantly more ERS, and FIFA Legend gets a 3-second time penalty on top of that. DRS is now enabled. Will we see some more insane moves by each of these drivers? I will go on forward with them now. DRS is enabled. Overtake is enabled. The driver's really getting a decent gap. Weez all alone, all by himself. Immortal cannot pressure him because he is not within 3 tenths, as we saw last race. Austria, while it is a big open track, this is also definitely not easy to overtake. The overtaking spots, you do have to squeeze a driver, so 2 tenths is the optimal range where you want to have DRS in to overtake the driver on these straights. And Immortal is not within that, but AB will be in, maybe in the last race, as we see Ferrari gets spun or spins, unknown which one, as Lord Gamer is now forced to push. Let's go back to this battle over here. Danny Skate is now 3 tenths off of P5. IRL Bucket, he will have DRS. IRL Bucket will not have DRS. What does Danny Skate think of this move? He thinks better of it. In fact, he does not go for the move. Looks like he may have gotten a warning from that first corner right there. We have overtake enabled, DRS enabled. Will he think the move? He tries to diving down the inside, giving each other ample room to defend. We see a purple sector 1, and we see a Charles Leclerc on Vettel all the way from 2019. Yeah, it was great racing from one another. As we see, AB locks his brakes as EDM closes in on him, putting the pressure on the drivers. I'd say the top 4 right now are really pressuring one another because they're far from each other, but really not that far. Almost like the saying, close but yet too far. So
yeah, but as you were speaking just then, Immortal did overtake Weezy, I believe, on turn 5. So he got on the outside, nice clean driving. Weezy left him some good amount of space, so it's been very clean so far. PB just picked up a 3-second time penalty as I was just speaking, but the top 4.
Oh, as we see EDM overtaking with DRS enabled on the Williams. The Williams will not be able to defend, does not have enough ERS. In fact, EDM has 65% ERS compared to the Williams. Oh, he has 52% ERS, so each driver going to be able to fend off one another. EDM not having ERS enabled at this moment. Locking his brakes very, very hard. You can see the tire temps must be out of control with all the locking up that he is doing. We have a 10-second time penalty. 10 seconds in total of time penalties for IRL Bucket. 23 seconds for FIFA Legend, who has the wing damage. And we have 3 seconds for PB, who is stuck behind Duffy's in P8. As we see, he looks for a move, but then he thinks better of it because you don't want to send down a dive on the inside. It's really not worth it. These drivers really not able to really do anything. In fact, just kind of trailing behind one another now. As I stated earlier, you can see the effects of the small amount of downforce he has.
There's a bit of contact. Sorry to interrupt, but there's a little bit of contact with AB and EDMG. AB did try go down it.
Oh, there was? You can tell.
As
thank you for mentioning that. There's a 1.6-second gap now that you mention it, and there must have been contact. There was no other reason. Did you describe that incident for us?
As I was just saying, EB would just behind, well, we're side by side, and we're coming into turn 1, and EDMG, I would say...
as we see AB almost into the gravel. Will Danny Skid be able to capitalize on this mistake? He does get it within DRS range of the driver. Sorry to interrupt, but AB almost loses it and puts it into the gravel and allows Danny Skid to be in DRS range. So he's really saving all this ERS and tire wear because he is able to stay within this DRS range, able to catch the top drivers. As we saw, Danny Skid drop down, I believe it was P8, because of an incident that happened. So he's making his way back through the field as any driver would want to do. I'm imagining George Russell in this Archaea Grand Prix. As we see, Lord Gamer gets a 3-second time penalty in P12, really pushing the limits of the track because he got dropped back so far. Not a very fantastic race from him. Talking about races, we have EDM trying to close in on Weeze, but he's unable to because Weeze has the DRS of Immortal. As the great TRL Limitless has always said, the third man in the DRS train is never going to have any type of advantage. So he's really going to want to use the ERS that he saved up, the 76, 78% that he saved up, and want to use it on these exit of these corners and these straights to gain the time he's losing because he's stuck behind both of these cars. As we have Danny Skid now 6/10 away from AB, trying to get closer and closer and closer. What were you going to say, Connor?
I was just about to say that. Near the back. Ooh, sorry. But Dylan just, I believe, got a bit of wind damage. Now gone into the pits. He just collided with FIFA Legend. I've no clue what FIFA Legend were just doing, but Lord Gamer has now gone up a couple of places due to that. That's going to be interesting. But I can't believe that FIFA Legend. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know if he's just being very, very dirty today. I don't know what sort of. He does have a 23-second time out still.
It's not like he's being dirty. He made the not so smart choice of not pitting under the safety car with having front wing damage. So he dropped down the field rapidly, and then he tries to defend like as hard as he can, and there's really nothing he could do. Honestly, I think he should have hit earlier, but I'm pretty sure what happened was that FIFA was about to go in the pits, and Dylan also was going to go in the pits, but FIFA was in front of Dylan, so FIFA broke earlier, Dylan hit FIFA on accident, and yeah, that's how front wing damage was acquired. As we see, you see the back three still in Sector 2, while the top three are coming in through Sector 1, so it's really disappointing to see these drivers so far back down the grid.
EDMG.
As we see an overtake down the inside, will he make the move stick? He does make the move stick on the AlphaTauri. Perfect braking. They do both have DRS, however. Overtake is not enabled. We see Weeze trying to find a way to wiggle past EDM, but this is not a great place to find overtake. As we see EDM getting loose again with his tires breaking way too late, in my opinion, if he's locking up that much. Probably about turning radius and turning while braking. As we see Weeze getting a little bit loose on the exit of the corners. Lap 13, we have We know that these drivers most likely have a large amount of tire wear, but the safety car also helped us as we see Immortal looks like he's going to dive in the pits. We see EDM deciding not to go into the pits, and Weeze does follow EDM TRT Immortal. So we have EDM now lead the Austrian Grand Prix along with Danny Skeet and P2, who has not pitted. Now he sees this as a clean air opportunity. Use as much pace as he can, use ERS, and try and really push this lap so then he can really go in on his in lap. As we see ABM trying to make a look down the inside of Danny Skeet. Oh, as we see, not giving Danny Skeet enough room. Danny Skeet almost loses it, trying to accelerate out of the corner. I'd say that was very close. I think ABM gave him enough space, just barely enough space, squeezing him. As we see, locking up, Danny Skeet gets a 3-second time penalty, trying to push back. I'd say this is now the time to pit, as Danny Skeet loses so much time to the drivers he was just trying to catch up with.
The most defenders are forced Duffy, but it's forced him to go on the outside, so Duffy does lose a bit more time round turn 4, but it's actually close in the mid-pack area in my opinion, but the top 3 are broken away as I believe Danny and AB.
Now let's go on board with TRT Immortal as the cars are diving into the pits. Did this undercut, or did the overcut fail? Did the undercut work, as we're going to see now? And it looks like the overcut did in fact work on certain drivers. We see him P5 now. We see PB, Duffy's, and Lord, who have not pit yet. Lord on Duffy's, around the outside he goes. Easy overtake. Simple, breezy, beautiful overtake. I like how I said that. It was funny. It was kind of dumb, but it was funny. We'll go with it, ladies and gentlemen. As we see, Duffy is unable to close the gap to a gamer after that overtake that he had. However, Duffy's is also on the medium tire compound, so he may be pitting on the hards later in the race or go on another set of mediums.
As Immortal, Weeze, Dylan, and Beef Legend are the only ones on the hards. EDMG and PB, who are probably still out. Well, EDMG in fact actually just entered the pits. As ABS now got fastest sector 2. So they're on the soft spot. EDMG.
Let me see. As you're talking, I just realized now Lord Gamer is also on the medium, so he will not be pitting for a little while now. We see EDM as the overcut work. Let's watch this on board with EDM as we see. Oh my god, what is happening? Oh, I couldn't go on board with him. Well, did the overcut work? No, he is behind Weeze now and TRT Immortal, though he has increased time on the drivers.
Danny has just got sector 1. Well, PA is team. He doesn't have a team actually. Only drive for the Racing Point team. Does get faster sector 1 as I just said. It's now going into by turn 4. Goes into turn 5 and 6 now. He is trying to get on AB Broken, but I believe AB Broken just went a little bit off track. Gets fastest sector 2 Danny. So it looks like these mediums are working for him. As I was saying during qualifying, if the mediums work and you got the pace, stick with them. If you're going on the hards, you're very consistent each lap, stick with them. But it looks like it's working very good for Danny, as he's gonna over the line. Gets, I believe, the fastest lap going at 5.868 on the medium compound tyres.
On Duffy is overtaking Duffy's on the hard tire compound. This is not looking good for Duffy, as looks like he does not have the pace that TRT Immortal has to keep the lead. As we see, Lord Gamer now 3 seconds away from TRT Immortal. He's going to be pushing to try and keep that gap as long as possible, because it's all going to really realize on his pit strategy. I believe if he pits now, he's going to drop all the way down behind Danny to 7th maybe, and then have to fight PB on his way back up through the track.
Well, as you were just speaking, Mr. Bucket did pick up a 3-second time penalty. Lord Gamer just picked up a 3-second time penalty. So they both just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So I don't know if that's concerning, but Lord Gamer is actually P1.
If I may just say this now, TRT Immortal is absolutely flying on those hard compound tires. You see he's catching another medium runner. seconds a lap. Seconds. That is absolutely insane for a hard runner. He just did not plan on pitting again, and I believe that if they do pit on the mediums now, running 20 laps on the medium is going to be nearly impossible. As we see EDM overtakes using DRS down Duffy's inside. I was saying Duffy just simply doesn't have the pace to keep up with these other runners. So it's sad to see him get overtaken, but things happen and things happen, man. As we see Wee's trying to defend from Danny. Danny takes a look down the inside. He always gonna have to watch for the driver ahead, having to lock up his brakes because of the driver ahead. AB really holding up Danny, and Danny's unable to overtake simply because the Williams was holding him up. As we see, he might look down the inside as Weeze may go wide. Will he take? He does make the move down the inside. He cannot keep it though because of the amount of rotation Weeze had in his tires was to keep him in front. We see him in 7th gear, not short shifting, downshifting, 4th gear, 5th gear, short shifting into 5th gear, DRS enabled. He does not have enough ERS to fight this though, and Weeze does not either. So they're both low ERS, fighting each other really hard. However, this is not going to be great for Danny because Weeze is on the harder compound tire, so Weeze will have the advantage into the late stages of the race. But for now, Danny has the advantage and he takes P5.
Well, as you were speaking earlier, there was 4 giving out 3-second time penalties out, which was AB broke, and I believe it was Dylan, it was G-Dub, and I believe there was another one that was handed out, but I'm not too sure who was the other driver. I might be just seeing things, but they did pick up the 3-second time penalty. Weezy did pick up the time penalty for going a bit wide by overtaking, I can't remember who was it, but he's getting on Duffy. So it's very close between them two, as Weezy is not too far behind. As
Danny is looking to overtake the other half driver of Duffy's, and look at him, down the inside he goes, made to look easy. As going up into this uphill section, he won't have DRS, so now Weeze will have a look at Duffy's. Duffy's can do absolutely nothing to defend, and neither can Danny because of the DRS advantage. Danny shoving him wide, trying to make him get on the power just too early to spin himself out, but he's able to keep traction, has DRS on Danny. Now what can Danny do to defend? Danny deploying all of his DRS, and so is Weeze, as we see Danny defending. As we might see in Albon and Hamilton, will he make it around the outside? No, he will not. Danny really showing his pace and his ability to race as he is defending this driving. Amazing driver from both drivers, good respect. That's what we like to see.
As I was speaking about Dylan earlier, he did spin in sector 2. Looks like he did get wind damage, so that's why he has just pitted. He's on the medium compound tyres. So a fresh set of mediums now, so he's around 14 seconds behind P12. As the other drivers did move up a place due to log game.
As we see, EDM might have a move on TRT Immortal, trying to go around the outside. He does not. Maybe looking for the switchback of Dreams as Immortal gets all loosey-goosey on the exit. They both get loosey-goosey on the exit. DRS enabled, trying to shove him wide, but is unable to do so as P1 now goes to EDM. But TRT Immortal might have the ability to fight back around the outside. Let's look at this from TRT Immortal's PFU, getting shoved off the track. EDM leaving absolutely no room. Almost a Hamilton and Albon situation. However, both drivers able to know how to handle their car while not spinning each other out. EDM really trying to defend very well, as we see him lagging just a tad bit back. TRT Immortal just wants to stay behind him and draft on him, get DRS, overtake him, but he has to stay within the 2-3 gap in order to do so. It's all about breaking into this first corner. Let's see who brakes well, who gets a good exit. All comes down to this 4th gear. Not a lot of rotation. We see 4/10. Not very great for overtaking. However, he might get a look just because of how long the straight is, and he does not. I was saying the 3/10 is really the sweet spot for overtaking. That's where you're gonna see most of the riding on one another, racing, pushing each other to the limits, and we're seeing that now, and it's amazing to watch. Oh,
Speaking about Duff. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're supposed to.
I was just about to say. Speaking about Duffy earlier, Weezy just oversteers there, so he loses control of his car. Weezy did pass Duffy. Duffy's is now on to P5, but Duffy has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Only ones without the penalty is this Smurfy, Immortal and EDMG, but EDMG could have picked up a penalty due to, I believe, crashing into Immortal early in the race, but looks like it's been a good race so far. Duffy has just entered the pits now, so he did pit, I believe, on lap 2 due to the safety car. He's now going to come in.
Oh, we see TRT Immortal making a absolute and utter dive bomb, and we see at EDM hitting Immortal dropping down the places. I'd say that was, as we see Immortal resetting to track. I do not know if that's allowed in this league, but I don't believe it is. Resetting to track in order to prevent him from losing even more time than he already lost. Now we have ABB in a good spot to capitalize on this race. He may be able to take P2 depending how well he manages his tires. Now let's talk about that incident. I'd say it was unfortunate, however, I think it was a racing incident, or the penalty should be given to TRT Immortal, and here is why. EDM had the right to the corner and could not have foreseen TRT Immortal diving down the inside, and I think TRT Immortal was too far to go down the inside, so it was really more of a desperation move than anything.
Yeah, I'll have to take your word for that. I did not see the incident. That could leave Immortal in a bad mood, considering he normally gets a podium. But EDMG has no penalties, so does Immortal. But top 3 looks interesting, as I'm just going to look at the penalties. They all, for P2, P3, so Weezy, Danny and AB Broken all have a 3-second time penalty, who are fighting for podium position. EDMG's, of course, trying to keep his position at full position. But Thief Legend still has a 21.
Oh, and I'm mistaken. TRT Immortal does not have damage on his car. Was that EDM who did get damage on his car from that dive bomb? Because I believe I did see some wing damage, and I cannot tell from how fast the cars are going. We will see. No, he does not have damage. So no damage was given to either of the drivers during that dive bomb. So it is fair racing to me. TRT Immortal left with even more work to do ever since the first lap. It looks like he has just been the most unlucky driver at this Australian Grand Prix.
Dylan has just gone up a position, so he moves up to P11 now, as he just overtook FIFA Legend 1, 2, 3. FIFA Legend looks like he's having a bad day. He has crashed into people under the safety car. As we were speaking about him earlier, he should have pitted under the safety car to take away the 5-second time penalty that he had, but he did pick up another. We thought he would pit when he had a 10-second time penalty. EDMG did just.
FIFA Legend looks like he either disconnected or left the session because he is ghosted. Not only ghosted, but he's shown the disconnected sign on his controller. We'll just see ABB really trying to avoid penalties. He got later on the power just because he got a tad bit of understeer into the corner, trying to prevent penalties, because that could really be the decider of this race. If he can overtake EDM and then keep that position, as we see Lord Gamer with a 105.6 as fastest lap. But as I was saying, ABM was really wanting to avoid getting penalties because of the drivers behind. If Danny Skeet trying to push, and TRT Immortal or also trying to get back positions, it is unforeseen what could happen.
As top, in my opinion, I would say the top 5 is really close. If you think about it, Immortal doesn't have a time penalty. He's got the P5 as well as the 3 drivers in front of him, so that's Weezy, Danny and AB do have a penalty.
Well,
so
now you are saying that. I say the only way TRT Immortal gets a podium is if he overtakes Weez and then he gets within the 3-second gap of Danny, because if he overtakes Weeze right now, he's going to be two seconds away from Danny, and he will get P3. If he wants first place, if he wants second place, he's going to have to then overtake Danny in order to get within that 3-second gap. That's what I'm saying. Because they're going to, think about it, they're going to lose time fighting one another, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would. Actually, a good review there. Immortal still trying to gain, of course. Dylan has just picked a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So it hasn't been Dylan's day, considering he does get quite a lot of points when he's racing. His teammate is, of course, currently in the pole position, so he's currently P1. But you don't have a Broken's teammate, which is usually, I believe it's usually Baker.
It's ironic to say that because as you're talking about being teammates, we see that the McLaren and Alfa Romeo teammates are completely polar opposites. We see EDM in the McLaren in P1, then we have Dylan all the way P11 as you mentioned, and then we look at Lord Gamer. He's in P6 in the Alfa Romeo, but then we have FIFA Legend, who's in 12th place. Just complete polar opposites of one another, you know? Not really meeting expectations that their teammates should be meeting. It's almost like an Albon, Max Verstappen scenario I'm seeing.
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to move down to the standings. So the Williams do lead the Constructors' title, and EDMG and Danny are tied for the first spot for the championship standings. So EDMG and Danny are both on 74 points, and this race looks like EDMG will pull away. I'm not 100% sure if we do count fastest lap.
I believe we do count fastest lap. It adds 1 point to the driver's standing, and I believe constructors along with that. So the drivers, as we see, he is P. Lord Gamer with fastest lap is in P6. May get an extra point. As we see, ABM trying to make a dive down the inside of EDM, but EDM is able to properly defend. And speaking of teammates, EDM is actually closing in on his teammate. His teammates ironically giving him DRS because he's about to be lapped. That is an interesting factor to get to make. I'd say Dylan is going to push, try and have his teammate, give his teammate as much DRS as possible, as we see ABB getting all loosey-goosey into these last chicane, almost spinning out not once, not twice, but 3 times, hitting the curb, really using the maximum lengths that the track will allow you to use. EDM, again, really wanted to DRS off of his teammate because his teammate is lapped, and now he is officially the 3rd man, and the ABB is now the 3rd man in this trade, because we have Dylan in first. EDM, and then Dylan lets his teammate by in this scenario, which is great driving from his teammates. Good communication, just let his teammate by and not try and race him, as we have seen so many times before.
Yeah. Well, they did actually just get DRS and all EDMG, but also there is 6 laps left to race for. So he's coming up to where you get points, but as you see, the top maybe broken. I just noticed it's really up there,
yeah,
really close to EDMG.
Yeah, it's great, amazing that you pointed out that there's only 6 laps left in the race, because the hard compound tires are now going to be optimal in this part of the race. These last 6 laps are really gonna show their true pace, as Weeze is trying to catch TRT more, but TRT lost. I didn't even notice this. He lost an entire second to Danny. So either something must have happened in order for him to lose so much time to Danny, or Danny is just really pushing. You see Danny and the driver ahead locking up a lot. It's Danny, ABM, and EDM all locked up on the exact same point, because they're trying to push like these medium compound tires. With however, we have TRT Immortal from the hard compound tire, had slower pace, but is able to catch up and have good tire wear. So it's really just the balance between, can you push on these hard compound tires or can the medium compound runners um, um, hold back their tire wear, prevent the bursting of the tire, which is also known as a puncture.
ADMG has done 14 laps on the medium compound, as well as AB Brooklyn's done one lap more. But does that affect him? Danny just has picked up another 3 second tire penalty, so that goes up to 6. So that gives, I believe, Immortal a podium position here currently, due to him not having a penalty. But AB Broken is getting really close to EDMG. Log games have picked up 3 second tire penalty by multiple warnings. Immortal's just trying to push as much as he can now.
Yes, 100%.
I
100% agree with you that I'm sorry, excuse me. I agree with you 100% that this race is all going to come down to penalties, as we see. EDM is going to 100% take pole position because everybody else has penalties. However, ABM almost hits the back of EDM because EDM has earlier braking, trying to conserve his tires. But I was mentioning, penalties are really going to be everything. Now I see TRT Immortal getting 3rd place on Danny, and if he can close that gap any lower to get closer to ABM, he might be able to take P2.
Sorry, the stream just started stopping on my computer, I just noticed. Hopefully it is okay, currently still working fine.
No, the stream is still working. I have it up on my phone. And then as we were talking about streaming, if you like today's stream, go ahead and, if you're not already, follow the stream. We do these races, I believe, every Saturday and Sunday. We have the schedule and the calendar actually in our stream. If you scroll through everything in it, because I'll be here streaming. I'll try and stream the races. I may one day be included in the tier 2 races, so that might be fun to watch. But yeah, just tune in, tune out, follow. It'd be very very helpful to grow our racing community. As we see ABM trying to close ever so slightly on EDM. However, no matter what he does, it will not help him whatsoever with this penalty. As we see G-Dub taking fastest lap with a 1:05.2, 4 5 tenths faster than the original fastest lap. That is incredible. That is incredible. Some of the slower drivers in the game can barely do that in just like short qualifying. So yeah, it's amazing to see that, especially on strict corner cutting. As we see, TRM Immortal getting 4 tenths closer now. He gets a 3-second time penalty. There go his hopes for podium position. It's all gone now. He has absolutely no hope into getting podium position. Danny Skid is going to now feel safe. He might drop back in pace, but there's no way that TRT gets 3 seconds. And now it's really going to come down to, I see ADM first. TRT Immortal, wait, actually, he has to get within 3 seconds of the driver. We might see a Hamilton Norris situation here. If you look on the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, we see that Danny Skid has a 6 seconds time penalty. We see TRT Immortal has 3 seconds, right? So that means if we cancel each other out, TRT won't have any penalties and Danny will have 6 seconds. That means TRT has to get within a 3-second gap in order to take his podium position. So he will be pushing like heck on these final laps. May as well go on board with him, see what's going through his mind, all the overtake, everything that he would use. And Danny Skid also low on everything. No ERS for either driver. This is going to be a very interesting fight to see, as it won't very much be a fight. As you see, Weeze is also closing up to TRT Immortal, which is his worst nightmare, because Weeze could easily end his hopes at getting a podium if Weeze pushes hard enough.
So we have 2 laps remaining, lap 35. It is coming up to, as G-Dub does get a 3-second time penalty. Just before the end of streaming, the upcoming minutes, I just want to say, go follow our Instagram page, which is Tribute Racing League. If you are interested of joining our F1 community, make sure you
just message us through Xbox,
Daniel,
I believe. So yeah, because we can always invite you. You can just message us through Xbox and to see TRL Immortal getting. I know that's guaranteed. That's one morning right now on lap 36. Within that 2-second gap, as we see, ABM finally gets the move done. Oh, almost finally gets the move done on EDM. However, it won't really matter. I'd rather watch this battle between these other two drivers, TRL Immortal and Danny. TRT Immortal really pushing as hard as he can within that 3-second gap. We see he's within 2 seconds, unless something very unfortunate happening as Weeze makes a dive bomber. He gets loose. I see him taking podium position. Maybe something interesting might happen. Maybe a tire might puncture. Who knows? As we enter the last sector of the race, as we see EDM having an amazing race, no penalties, pushing himself to the very limit
now
of the entire race, and an amazing race from him. He takes EDM. Congrats P1 as we see TRL Immortal. Danny Skid, I guess, gets loosey-goosey. Something happened. I did not get to see it because I was too busy watching. And we see him P5. Very unfortunate. TRT Immortal, as I was stating earlier, gets P3. I believe Danny Skid just got all loosey-goosey at the very... Oh, he got a puncture. He got a puncture at the last stages of the race. As I was stating, the medium tires, anything can happen. As we see, his rear left tire did in fact have a puncture. So that is not his fault. There was absolutely nothing he could do. We're just glad he finished the race, buddy. Amazing race. We have G-Dub, who is now finishing up his final sector of the race, pushing himself. He got fastest lap, so congrats to him. And we have Day Smurf finishes the race. Congrats to everybody. This was an amazing race to watch. We had some insane defending, insane overtakes. We had a last lap puncture, putting TRT Immortal into P3. Good job, everybody. It was very fun to watch. Very fun commentating. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments if you have any right now. But yeah, it was fun. I appreciate it. Always grateful for the opportunity to commentate, especially with anybody. So thank you, Connor, for joining me with this commentating. Have anything to say?
It was a good race. Mate, AB, if you just didn't notice, did pick up driver of the day. So I don't know if he gets an extra point of vote for that. I know that. I believe Dylan on the last last lap did the fastest lap, if you haven't noticed. And yeah, like I said, if you are interested, obviously get in contact with us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, obviously follow us on Twitch. If you don't know and you're new to us, make sure if you want to watch the races, 7 o'clock I believe on Saturdays, 6:30 normally the start on Sundays. But we did have a bit of issues due to the server of European servers, but we gave you a good race for today, and I want to thank you also, Jeremiah, for letting me commentate with you as you are new to the community, and hope that you're settling really good into the community of our F1 league. So I want to say thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It was it's great. The league is amazing. Everybody is amazing. I love the opportunity to commentate anytime. So thank you, everybody.